Today in the world of cannabis, almost a dozen cannabis bills are introduced in the Indiana legislature, and all but one of them die. Connecticut gets one step closer to cannabis policy reform, and a group of lawmakers send a letter to President Biden urging them to rethink the decision to fire White House staffers for cannabis use. It's Monday, March 29th, and this is your TRICHOMES Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the TRICHOMES.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, in a report by IndyStar, nearly a dozen measures were filed by politicians on either side of the aisle to reform the way cannabis is regulated in the state of Indiana, including motions for both medical and recreational legalization. Just one of these proposals will be sent to Governor Eric Holcomb's office. Senator Michael Young introduced Senate Bill 201, which establishes a shield against liability for an individual who drives a vehicle while possessing cannabis or a metabolite in their system under some circumstances. This is not a unique occurrence in the state. Approximately another dozen reform, legalization, or control proposals were presented in both 2020 and 2019. They were all refused a hearing before a legislative committee. The protection applies if the individual wasn't impaired at the moment, did not trigger a road accident, and the drug was detected by a clinical examination. After being sent to the Senate Committee on Corrections in Criminal Law, the proposal was co-authored by Senators Karen Tallien and Mike Bohasek and passed with no modifications.
And next, Marijuana Moment reports that a House committee in the Connecticut State Legislature passed a proposal to legalize cannabis, a significant step forward as legislators try to align their proposals with Governor Lamont's cannabis reform agenda. Representative Robin Porter introduced the bill, which passed the legislator's Labor and Public Employees Committee 9-4. Advocates applauded the proposal's focus on social justice, and there's hope that its wording will be integrated into Governor Lamont's reform plan, which they say is insufficiently written. Cannabis policy reform is needed because of the disproportionate impact and damage that it has done to Black and brown and poor communities, and it does need to be regulated in a way that provides equity to those who have been harmed the most, Representative Porter said. Differing from the governor's proposal, this bill would authorize a maximum of 6 cannabis plants to be grown at home and would authorize consumption facilities. It also contains new verbiage on cannabis gifting and candidates for social equity. The train has left the station, and I feel like Connecticut is actually playing catch-up, Porter said. Our surrounding states are on board, and there are states across the nation that have done it already.
Last up, in a report by Federal News Network, in the days following an announcement that several White House staffers have either been laid off or asked to work remotely after finding out about past cannabis use, a coalition of legislators is formally asking President Joe Biden to reverse the decision. They point to legislative attempts to abolish the cannabis ban, as well as President Biden's endorsement for these measures. According to them, certain job criteria are enforced in a haphazard manner. Career government employees and aides can be dismissed, but political appointees and elected officials are unlikely to suffer similar consequences. They want the White House to stop using previous cannabis usage as a non-starter for jobs and to consistently enforce the policy. A portion of the letter stated, those in the upper ranks of your administration won't face consequences for their cannabis use, and nor should they, but the same standard should apply across the administration. Repercussions for cannabis use have always been unequal, and those with the most power have always faced the fewest consequences. We ask that you don't allow that pattern to continue within your administration.
And that was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit TRICHOMES.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech in Cannabis, or Careers in Cannabis, wherever you get your podcasts. For TRICHOMES.com, I'm Devin Liao.
And I'm David Fortin. Catch you tomorrow.